Hey guys, welcome to the Redmen TV. Steve Hoare here, about to bring you a clip from Journo Insight, where me and Neil Jones had a big discussion about who has been Liverpool's player of the year so far. If you want to check out the entire show, head on over to redmenplus.com now. If you sign up as a monthly Captain subscriber and use the promo code Nunez, N-U-N-E-Z, of course, you'll get it for just 99p for your first month. 99p, 99th minute, you get the gist. Right, let's get on with the show. If Neil had to pick a Liverpool player of the year today, who would it be and why? So before we make decisions, Neil, we can run through a couple of contenders and then maybe think of one. I mean, we might as well start with the fellow who lifted the trophy the other day. I'm guessing he's pretty high up on this list.
Virgil, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you who my player of the year is, and I'll tell you who was in the running, if you like. So Virgil is the player I would pick as player of the year today. Who would it be and why? Virgil van Dijk, because I think he has the greatest impact on Liverpool's overall sense of well-being. So I think when he's at his best, I think Liverpool are a few inches taller and have their chests pushed out a bit further. And let's not forget, he had some questions to answer, didn't he? You know, he's mentioned it a few times.
Himself on the video,
that, you saw that. And listen, cool as you like, but that shows you, doesn't it, that even the coolest customers, they hear what's being said. He's made reference to it a few times in the mix zone. I think he made reference to it live on Sky. I can't remember what game it was, but he sort of said, when Cara was around, and he said, there's noise. People have been making a lot of noise about my form, and it wasn't as bad as people made out and all that. So clearly it has affected them or got through to him. So to come back in the manner that he has, and I know, he had the red card up at Newcastle, and big learning curve for him. I think you've seen the impact since. How many times have you seen Virgil dragging someone away from a referee or saying, leave it, let me handle this situation more calmly. And I think his performance levels have been absolutely magnificent. He had one mistake, him and Allister down at Arsenal. It can happen. You get one of those in a season. Unfortunately, it came in a big game at a big time. But cancel that out with however many. I mean, opening goal against Sheffield United, potentially a sticky away fixture. Opening goal or the equalising goal against Luton. Goal in the final. Big performances, but defensively as well. Back to his very best. The amount of times I've seen him cutting out low crosses, winning big headers in his penalty area. The header back to his goalkeeper on Saturday was at the last minute of the first half.
That's outrageous.
That was one of them where, as the ball's coming in, you're thinking, that's a problem. And then you see, he's not, oh my God, that is, but that just shows you just sort of where he's at in terms of his form levels. He's just in control of situations. And I feel like when he's in control of situations, Liverpool are just a far better side and a far more dangerous proposition. And I feel like the supporters have got that sense that we're not gonna do stupid things today. We're not gonna concede 2-3 goals today. We're gonna be tight and solid, and then we're gonna see if we've got the quality to win it. So I think the impact that Van Dijk has on the whole well-being, like I say, of the team and the supporters is the biggest. So, and he's played most of the season as well, hasn't he? He's barely missed a game. So he's my player of the year. Contenders. So behind that, I would have a top 5 that would have Darwin in there.
More appearances, joint most appearances.
Yeah, and the most goals and assists. I'm not having Salah in there, although he's had amazing moments and spells in the game. I think Darwin, in terms of in-game impact on it, I think it's greater. I think the way he gets to Liverpool, attacking, direct, sort of threatening most of the time. He had a little lean spell around sort of November, December, didn't he, when he didn't score for, I think it was a dozen games. But I never ever feel like you come off the pitch and go, where was Darwin today? Anonymous, really. There's only a couple of games I can think of this season. Big moments, like I say, Newcastle, obviously the weekend. But other ones where he's just carried Liverpool's threat a lot of times and sort of almost set their stall out of, this is what we're going to do. We're going to attack you. We're going to go right at you from the word go. So I'd have Darwin, and I think he's made real good progress this season, given the fact that You know, keep going back to that Newcastle game, but the reason he's able to do that is he wasn't in Liverpool's best attack at the start of the season. You know, at the start of the season, I think with Diaz, Jota and Salah with Gakpo in midfield, and Darwin now is on, you know, if he's fit, he's in Liverpool's best attack, isn't he? 100%. Joe Gomez would be in that top 5. I think
37 appearances.
37
in
appearances.
about 7 different roles.
So many different roles, but good as well. Not a case, not just a case of he's filling a gap at left back, or he's filling a gap, whatever. He's done well as well. He put good performances in, and I think against expectations at the start of the season, what you've seen from Joe Gomez, you know, I think some people might have thought, is he past his sort of his sell by date for Liverpool? You know, in terms of he hasn't played a lot at centre back. He's had some poor games when he has played at centre back. You know, last season at Napoli, we had Real Madrid, we had Southampton. A lot of goals conceded. I think to come back there says a lot about his character, but also what a good footballer he is as well. You know, to be able to play in essentially 4 positions. You know, I know he hasn't, as I say, centre back's been probably the last of the 4 of late. To be able to do that, I think says a lot about him. And he hasn't had an injury. You know, in a season of injuries, you would have thought Joe Gomez would be one that would fall down. So fair play to me. He's come back. He's conditioned, and he's been so consistent in his level. So give him a shout out. And then the other 2 that I would throw into the mix would be Wataru Endo and Alexis McAllister, as 2 players that have just been terrific, and both have got better and better as the season's gone on. You know, different types of players, but with very similar kind of, when they're on it, they bring very similar things to the game. I think Endo surprised a lot of people with how good he's been on the ball and how good he is on the ball playing forwards. You know, I think maybe people thought when he saw this 30-year-old sort of holding midfielder, he thought he'd be a very steady Eddie side to side, maybe, you know, just a bit of a breaker-upper of play. He's more than that. He progressed the ball really well. He scored a couple of obviously big goals. Well, he's certainly one big goal in terms of the Fulham one. Yeah. And I think his selflessness and team ethic has been massive.
His fitness levels are
ridiculous. I mean, that was an epic performance from in the Carabao Cup final.
Do you remember Momo Sissoko 2006 when it was like no one else could run?
Yeah, that was
very reminiscent to that, where like everyone was goosed and Endo was legging it. He gets injured going into a tackle in the 119th minute.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, brilliant performance. And again, a little bit against expectations. You know, sort of he was the fallback signing, if you like, wasn't he, of the summer? So I don't think people thought he'd be this. Now, I think he's in Liverpool's best team at this moment in time. I think you've got some awkward conversations to have around, you know, one of Szoboszlai, McAllister and Curtis Jones would miss out if you had Liverpool's best full squad available. So that tells you a lot about him. And McAllister, I just love watching him as a player. I think how often, it was said to me a while back about a good midfield player should always be around the ball. Not necessarily on it, but always around it. And the amount of times you look at McAllister, whether he's closing down a player, making a block, or Liverpool win the ball and he's the first player playing the first pass out because he's read it and he's at the scene of where you need to be. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's only going to get better. And I think when you looked, I think we all suspected in the summer 35 million was a steal. Yeah. I think it's been proven already amply since. You could have mentioned, I mean, they've all had moments in the season. Trent had an incredible period. Yeah. Konate is in the middle of a brilliant period at this moment. You know, the last few months he's been outstanding. Salah's had amazing moments in the season. Jota's had big impact. Szoboszlai had a great start. There's a lot of contenders, but they'd be my 5 that I would pick out at this moment in time.
Which as well, Curtis Jones, fantastic.
Curtis, Harvey Elliott, you know, different way. You know, he hasn't started as many games, but a big impact on the season.
Give 20 more games to Conor Bradley, he'd be a man. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He hasn't played enough games. He's played 14 games, but as 14 games go, he's been faultless. Like he's been up there.
Gerald Kwanzaa, you know, great impact on the first team. Yeah. There's so many, but yeah, I think I'm just looking at. I think Virgil's head and shoulders personally as number one, and then they'd be the four I'd have below him, with several others looking to get in there.
That's why you're top of the league and in competitions, because so many people have
exactly, and hopefully, you know, maybe some of the names that I haven't mentioned there, Gakpo, Diaz, Robertson, you know, Kelleher, you know, hopefully their period is now, you know, the end of the season, where you come at the end and go, I'll tell you what an impact Diaz made on that running, or, you know, what a magnificent Mo Salah getting 15 goals in his last 15 games or whatever. You know, it's not beyond the realms, is it? So yeah, there's still time as well for others to really have their moments in the season. I think Diaz is in good form at the moment. You know, hopefully that can continue.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jota was the one I was thinking. I think he'd have cracked my top 5 somewhere.
I love him. He is a top player.
He's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, Virgil van Dijk, he might win the Premier League Player of the Year again if you know, at this moment in time he's in the mix for that. I saw Pep say Phil Foden, absolutely fantastic. You know, Declan Rice is getting a lot of plaudits as well, and a few others. But yeah, obviously Haaland's goals and stuff like that. But it feels like Van Dijk's probably at the moment in time, probably the only Liverpool player who's probably in that mix to win that one. You would say?
Possibly. Yeah, and then obviously you might have a few in the young Player of the Year section. But yeah, he's done it before. You know, second in the Ballon d'Or. But Virgil van Dijk, he's won obviously everything as a player, but I think if he was to be doing it as a captain as well, that would certainly put him in the mix, wouldn't it, this season?
Absolutely.
And he's got the Euros in the summer as well.
Thank you so very, very much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. The season is now well underway. If you need extra Redmen content, be it podcast, videos, documentaries, interviews, and general shows, fill your boots on redmenplus.com today.